Hello, Clemson Nation. This is Patrick Driscoll, and welcome to this week's edition of On the Prowl, the show where I keep you updated on all Clemson sports. Happy first day of December. It is so good to be back in the studio this week. While some seasons are over for our Tigers, the postseason continues to heat up for others. We also have a new addition to the show, as track and field begins its season in less than 24 hours. Let's start in the oval with the track squad. After 6 long months, track and field is back in action for your Clemson Tigers. The men and women are opening their season at home tomorrow with the Clemson opener. This meet is great for team members to get the kinks out and get some racing under their belt before the season really picks up next semester. There will be 18 other schools competing, such as Tennessee, TCU, and ACC foe Georgia Tech. What is also notable about this meet is that the NCAA named the Clemson opener the top track meet of the weekend to look out for. Field events begin at 10 a.m. starting with pole vault, shot put, and high jump. Track events kick off at 11:30 a.m. beginning with the women's 5,000 meter run. Following the 5K, there will be countless action all around the indoor complex, concluding with the men's 4x400 meter relay at 5:45. It's free admission, so come out and give these talented student athletes your support tomorrow. The men's hoop squad had quite the late night this past Tuesday. This was not any ordinary late night by any means. I am talking double overtime thriller versus Penn State at Littlejohn. After finding themselves down 6 at the break, the Tigers came out roaring to begin the second half with a 13-2 run. After slowly battling back throughout the contest, Clemson finally found themselves level with 4 minutes remaining. The following 4 minutes were a back and forth battle as regulation ended in a standstill. In the first overtime period, with their backs against the wall, our guy, PJ Hall, was able to force double overtime with a huge bucket with 5 seconds remaining. As for double overtime, it was more smooth sailing from there, as Clemson outscored Penn State 18-11 to secure the big-time win. The Tigers were led by Hall and grad student Hunter Tyson, who scored just under half of Clemson's points. Junior guard Alex Hemingway was extra efficient from deep, as he went 4 for 6 on 3 balls. Clemson now improves to 6-2 with Tuesday's victory and are back at Littlejohn tomorrow night, where they will be taking on Wake Forest to begin ACC play. While many of us spent last weekend with our families back home, the women's basketball squad actually spent their Thanksgiving in the St. Thomas Virgin Islands. They partook in the Paradise Jam Invitational and participated in 3 games over the course of 3 days. While dropping their first 2, the women were able to end the trip on a high note with an 80-62 victory over Northern Arizona University. Freshman guard Ruby Whitehorn led the squad with 29 points, which is good for a new career high. As a unit, the Tigers dominated in the paint, with 50 of their points being scored in the post. They only needed 2 3-pointers, by the way, too, which is actually insane. Clemson is back in action with a matchup in Charleston versus Charleston Southern University, and the Tigers are playing the Buccaneers as we are filming, actually. Best of luck and keep it up, ladies. Now, to our 2 teams in the postseason. Let's start with an update for the women's volleyball squad. While the regular season finale was spoiled by Wake Forest, the volleyball team accepted an invite to compete in the Women's National Invitational Volleyball Championship. The tournament will be held from December 1st to the 13th, and your Clemson Tigers open up with Toledo on the road in Lynchburg, Virginia this Saturday. Clemson's acceptance of the NIVC marks the team's first postseason appearance since 2018. That definitely shows things are trending upwards for the volleyball program. This also marks the 10th time Clemson has earned a berth to the postseason in program history. The Tigers square off against the Rockets at 3 o'clock. Go get 'em, ladies. And last but not least, let's wrap it up with your Clemson Tiger football team. While last week was a crushing blow to our 40-game home streak, the good news is that we can start a new streak of our own starting Saturday. And that is being crowned the champions of the ACC, as Dabo and Co. are still a perfect 8-0 in conference play. Your number 10 ranked Tigers are squaring off versus the number 24 ranked North Carolina Tar Heels in Charlotte Saturday night. There is still a lot on the line for this matchup, as a bounce-back win would put Clemson in great position for a high-end New Year's Six Bowl matchup. A Clemson victory would also be the 7th conference championship in the past 8 years, which has not been done since Alabama in the 1970s. Kickoff is set for 8 o'clock Saturday night. Let's take what is rightfully ours this weekend. Go Tigers! That wraps up this week's edition of On the Prowl. Once again, I am your host, Patrick Driscoll, and thank you for watching this week's episode. See you next week.